You ready?
I am. Are you?
I think so.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, we're going to jump right into episode 1.
You know what?
But
before we start talking about episode 1.
Okay.
It's the toilet seat.
What about it?
All right, so we have avoided the toilet seat conversation for 20 plus years.
Yeah, because you don't leave it up. Thank God.
There you go.
Amen.
That's my advice for the day. That is it. I summed it up.
Put the toilet seat down.
It may cause another argument, but it's not the argument of lift it up or let it down.
Yeah.
Just never lift it up as a man.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, that was great advice for episode 1.
You're welcome.
So
I'm full of advice.
Start over. Episode 1. The first spark. Why did we get married? Why did we get married? It's a question of people. A lot of people probably ask themselves, like, why did we get married? Yeah. So let's tell them.
I ask myself that question a lot.
Oh, wow.
In a good way.
Okay.
Seriously, it's like, so many different ways you can say that, right?
Yeah.
Why did I get married?
Why did I get married? Anyway.
Right.
Okay, come on. So, who are we? Who is Brian and Charlene? You want to tell them, or you want me to start?
No, you can start.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna cut you off anyway. So.
Oh, that's great. So here's the thing. I know everybody wants to know, like, how did you meet? If you already know us, you have heard this story probably more than once. But if you haven't, then here we go. So we have known each other since high school, 9th freaking grade. Oh, that's a long time. But since 9th grade, we met at band camp in high school. So Brian, you can go and tell your story.
I think I need to tell the story.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Let me set the scene. All right, back it up. All right, so what year was this? I need that help.
1994. No, my God, that's when we started dating.
91, 92, somewhere around there.
That would be 91, 1991.
Right. So we're in 9th grade, and this is in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. Our 9th grade class was the first 9th grade class in high school.
Yeah.
So therefore,
that's how old we are.
I'm still pretty young. So that was like that was a big shock already, right? Yeah. You coming in middle school, you thinking, oh, I'm about to be in 9th grade, I'm about to run to school, but you go right back to the bottom of the barrel going into high school.
Right.
That was a big shock. I know for me, going to band camp, and for me, I just been playing the horn for 1 year, played saxophone. Charlene played clarinet. Didn't know this at the time.
Since 7th grade.
So anyway, I'm gonna paint this picture, right? So I walk into band practice, and then the next thing I know, we go outside on the band field.
Yes.
It's a lot of people, right? Like I said, you got 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and what's the other one?
12th graders, yeah.
So you got all these people. So for me, that was very overwhelming. But what happened to me was I caught this fine thing, right? I mean, she's just sitting there. She was talking, laughing, and I saw her smile. I saw her eyes, but then I also saw that big old booty.
Oh my gosh!
That big old donka-donk. That kind of caught my attention, right?
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
So that really caught my attention. Well, it was your eyes.
Lies.
And it was your eyes and your smile.
Sorry.
But we all had on white shirts and she had on these jean shorts. I'll never forget those thighs, and that booty was banging.
Okay.
So imagine a little kid from Jackson, Mississippi going to band camp with all these people on the field, but the only thing I saw was you.
Aww.
It's crazy. Now, here's the tripped up part for me. The first thing that came to my head the third thought. We don't have to talk about the first and second. But the third thought that came to my head was, that's the girl that you're going to marry. Now, me being a 9th grader, I've never thought about being married. I ain't even thought about relationships or nothing like that. I'm just thinking about how do I navigate college? High school. How do I go through all this? And then there you are, and you stand, and bam. That was my attraction to you instantly. Now, granted, this is Jackson, Mississippi. This is where we got a bunch of thick women. There's a bunch of women on this field. I noticed them, but what I felt for you was something totally different.
That is so beautiful.
And at that point, I knew. I didn't know what I knew because I'm in 9th grade.
Right.
But I knew something. And then that's where it started. And then I think people from this point think I stalked you, but I didn't.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Gosh, I hate to. That was a beautiful story. That was beautiful.
Awesome.
And I hate to follow it up like this. But so 9th grade, I can't say.
Okay, so you're going to tell the exact opposite. Go ahead.
So we were friends. We were friends first.
Not the first day.
Right, not the first day, but I honestly can't remember like when the first time we talked to each other. Like, I don't remember that. It was obviously in 9th grade. But yeah.
I remember because I guess I was
So what I'm saying,
on you a little bit too hard.
What I'm saying is the opposite is I didn't notice.
We know
you.
I was a little chubby kid at that time.
No, that's not the point. That wasn't the reason. I don't know. I think I was just focused on, band camp, practice. You know me, I was into getting it and doing whatever I was supposed to do. So sad to say, y'all, it took a while for that to come into what it is now, because that was 9th grade.
Yep.
And so then,
see, in 9th grade, so band camp started before school started,
right?
But when school started, we had majority of our classes together.
Not in 9th grade.
9th grade, I remember we had
That's
English, and we had.
How you remember that?
I remember because I remember I was crushing on you.
Okay.
I know we had English and it was another subject together.
So 2 classes.
It may have been 3.
Not
I don't even remember how many classes we had back then.
Yeah,
that was so long ago.
It wasn't a lot.
But we did have multiple classes together.
2.
And that kept happening year after year.
It increased year after year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why? Because the universe knew that I was right.
God knew that this was supposed to be.
Correct.
So
go ahead, tell your piece.
So yeah. So then fast forward. Sorry, I gotta fast forward.
How far you fast forward?
I gotta fast forward to 11th grade, because that's when we got really close.
Yep.
10th grade, I think, like you said, every year we had classes together. In 11th grade, we had almost every class except for lunch.
Right.
Yep, except for lunch together. And our lockers, right, were assigned. And he was assigned the locker right above me.
Nope.
Or below me.
You.
Okay.
I know it's below because I was staring at the booty.
So 11th grade, all classes together.
Hold on.
Oh my Lord.
I would actually, I just have to tell my piece, because I would actually make sure that I would come to my locker just to see you.
Okay.
So I would leave books in there on purpose.
Mm-hmm. He ain't never told me that, y'all.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to tell you everything.
Yeah. So
then make it seem like I was stalking you.
You're going to let me tell the story.
Much. Go for it.
Okay, 11th grade. Got all the classes together. Lockers by each other. Only class we didn't have together was lunch. So that, we grew closer just from that. It's almost like God, the universe, was like, oh, no. I want to make sure y'all see each other and be together. So from that, a friendship started. A very close friendship. We were friends.
Yeah, we were friends in 9th grade.
Yeah, we were friends, but I'm saying...
You were dating my best friend in 9th grade.
Oh, my God.
But anyway.
So... I wouldn't date nobody in 9th grade, y'all. Make that clear. You can't date in 9th grade. You just have a little goofy boyfriend. Anyway. What if you watching this?
Move on.
Anyway, okay. 11th grade, classes together. We became very close friends. We started talking on the phone a whole lot more, just as a friendship.
Right. And at this point, I do want to iterate that at this point.
Yeah.
I was still crushing on you, but I wasn't falling for you at this point.
Right.
I just thought, we're just going to be friends for life. And that was it. I wasn't even thinking about, me and Charlene going to be dating. I'm thinking about you. I go home and think about you.
Yeah.
That was over.
Yeah. Over. Okay. So, started talking on the phone a whole lot. We both love music. We started swapping CDs. I can't remember what that thing was, but when you got CDs for like 1 cent or something, you was in the club. I was in the club.
What was the name of that club?
I don't know.
I want to give them a shout out. They sponsoring us today.
Anyway,
although they don't even exist anymore.
Everybody under like 40, like 1 cent. Anyway, so
everybody under 30, like, what's a CD?
Okay, so we started talking CDs. We learned that we both love music, had the band connection, all that. So let's fast forward to how this thing happened. Lord have mercy. This is the story, y'all. Okay, so
do I need to tell the story too?
Yeah, I guess you can tell the short version of how the connection really went just boom, and we just really connected after all the friendship. Go. Driving home after band practice.
Okay. So, all right. Once again, band camp, band practice, right? I don't know what, I guess I do know what the connection is between band camp. Mm-hmm. Just music, right? I think we have a love for music.
And I'm sorry, we're 16 now.
Yeah, this is summer going into our senior year.
Right. Summer after our junior year, so we're 16.
Right. So I'm driving home. I pull out of the parking lot
with goofy friends.
Provine High School, Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In a band camp. For some reason, we were excited. I can't remember if it was the last day of band camp, going into school or whatever, but I pulled out of the parking lot and I was being goofy for 5 seconds.
With a lot of other goofies.
And I just started swerving in the street. So I don't remember who was behind me. It was Henry, George, Brandon, Toby, somebody, right? they started swerving too. So
in the street, y'all.
As people are coming out of the parking lot, everyone's swerving in the street. You know, So anyway, I was good because this was just it's a non-busy street. I'm like, all right, this was like 5 meters. I'm done. At this point, I'm just driving home.
Mm-hmm. He got innocent now. Okay.
I didn't know that there was a caravan following. I didn't know what had happened, right? There was a caravan following me. I didn't know this. So now at this point, I'm no longer in the front. There's somebody else. I don't even know who's in the front at this point. But we get to this stop sign. Everybody got their car, turn the music up, and turn the music up, and everybody just get out on the same radio station.
I don't remember that part. But go ahead.
A shout out to 997. Yeah. But everybody got out the car and started jamming, right? At this point, I jammed a little bit. I got my car, turned my music up, and my mom was 1985 Riviera. Never forget it.
I do not remember the year, but okay, whatever.
It was 85. Go ahead. Anyway, I got back in my car, and I'm just driving home. I'm done with all this party. This was just immature. This is not stuff we do. So I'm driving home, and then going around the corner, and one of my good friends, Jermaine Reed, shout out, stops on his brake. And then behind him, I think it was, I remember the order, but I know I was third in line at this point. And then somebody was behind me, and then because Jermaine stopped, it was a little collision that happened. Very minor.
Okay, very minor.
You know what?
What?
I just admitted this to my mom. This is the first time my mom probably heard this.
Sorry, Mimi. If you're listening, just know that was many years ago. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Wait a minute.
This is actually all this is hypothetical.
Had to do with marriage. So you never told your mama what happened?
Nope.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, we love you, Mimi. So anyway. This is gonna be a problem.
So anyway, that happened, right?
Yes.
So I was hit, which made me hit somebody else, and it was just like a 4 or 5 car pileup.
And this is right down the street from his house, y'all. Like literally 2 minutes down the street. So
why tell that story?
Because this leads to the connection.
It leads into it.
So that happened. The accident happened. I was kind of in the back with my best friend, Funtria. Hey, girl. So she was driving. Luckily, we didn't hit anybody. We get out the car and kind of check on people. So you weren't innocent
either because you was on that side of town.
I wasn't driving, buddy.
Right, but you was on that side of town. You didn't even live on that side of town. Why were you over there?
That's a great question. Yep. So anyway, we get out the car just to kind of see how everyone is doing. And y'all, Brian is sitting on, it's funny now, it wasn't funny then, sitting on the curb with his head in his hands, looking just like, oh my gosh, just like it's the end of the world.
It was.
It was the end of the world because remember, he's driving his parents' car. So I see that and something, I don't know, something in me, I think I already was feeling something and I didn't realize it. But that just, I don't know, it did something to my heart. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I care for this person so much more than a friend that I thought that it was at first.
That's sweet.
I think I just said, are you okay? And he was like, yeah. And that was it for that day.
Yeah, I was in a bad spot because I just knew my mom and dad were going to rip it to me.
Right.
I just knew it was going to be a bad occurrence. Now, this is how old this is, though. So after the accident, I had to get on a payphone and call my mom and dad. We didn't have cell phones. That's how old we are.
So anyway, That's neither here nor there. So fast forward. That happens. And then I think it was the next day. I can't remember. Because at some point in between that, I said, and maybe this happened before it, I don't remember. But I sat in a class with my friend, Lakeithia, another shout out. And I was sitting behind her and Brian got up and walked to the pencil sharpener. And I remember looking at him.
You saw that butt.
And oh my God, looking at him and saying, oh my gosh, I think I like him. And I told her and she was like, okay, tell him. And I was like, what? No. So anyway, I can't remember when that happened, but it was close in time.
Yeah, I think that happened in 11th grade from time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think you were already kind of feeling me.
Yeah, and I didn't know it.
And I didn't know it either.
So anyway, so the accident happened, y'all. Okay, so this is how we connected. The next day, I'm thinking, next day or a day or two, maybe it was the weekend. I don't know. But in my head, I went back and forth and I was like, I gotta tell him that I like him. I gotta tell him. I just gotta let him know. And so I decided, let me make a phone call, right? we were going to see each other at band practice, but it was going to be easier over the phone because I was so nervous. And my stomach, y'all, it was rumbling. Like, for real, I was so nervous to tell my best friend that I liked him. So I pick up the phone and I call Brian's house, right? That's when we had to call houses. We didn't have cell phones. So I called his house and I think his dad answered. And I was like, can I speak to Brian? And so he gave Brian the phone and Brian came onto the phone and I was like, hey, it's Charlene. I like you. That's exactly what I did, y'all. So goofy. I was like, I like you. That's how I said it. I just blurted it out. And Brian goes, okay, let me call you back. Oh, y'all understand the pain?
That's not that traumatic.
Oh, lies. Baby, do y'all understand what that felt like when he did that? I was so embarrassed. And then we had to go to band practice the same day. So it wasn't a weekend because we had to go to band practice the same day.
Yeah.
So went to band practice, was sitting there talking to somebody else, Kim Samuel. I don't know why I remember all the people, but I told Kim, I told Brian I liked him. And he just said, okay, I'll talk to you later. And then let me make it worse for y'all. At band practice, the boy just walks past me.
I don't remember that.
I do. He just walked past me. And I was like, oh my God, I have made the biggest mistake of my life by telling him
I think you made that
my
up.
feelings. Kim, if you're listening, let me know. Just like comment somewhere. Anyway, so that happened. We went through all of band practice. Do y'all hear me? All of band practice. If you understand, that was hours. And I'm sitting there feeling like a ubu. And I'm clarinet, he's saxophone. And I think I could see him in my vantage point. And I refused to look his way because it was embarrassing. Anyway.
Can I clear this up though?
So fast forward to the end of band practice. He walks up to me.
Before we go there, I have to clear this up.
Okay, we'll make it fast.
I will. All right. So she called me the next day. This is after the accident. And when she calls, my dad does pick up the phone because guess where I'm at?
Where you at?
I'm outside helping my dad fix the car that I just wrecked yesterday.
I didn't know that at the time.
So therefore, I'm trying to be good boy. Like, no. I'm outside. Dad, let's fix it. How do we lift this bumper? How do I hold? Hey, whatever you need me to do, I'm there. That's why I didn't even answer the phone because I heard the phone ring. He came in the house and answered the phone.
Yeah.
And then, so my mind is all about fixing this car that I just wrecked yesterday. So when she calls and she says, I like you, it didn't register for me. Because my focus was fix the car. Yeah. So therefore, I like you. Like, okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Right? It was like that. Yeah. It wasn't intentional. But I just wanted you to know that because I guess you didn't catch on context clues from 9th, 10th, and 11th grade that I was feeling you. I mean, come on. Anyway, now you can continue.
So after band practice, he walks up to me and he looks at me and he literally goes, I like you too. And I was like, okay, well, all right then. And so that's how we got started in our relationship. And our next question to each other at 16, we looked at each other and was like, okay, what now? And I think I said, I guess we hold hands. Yeah. And that is how this started.
That was it.
We started holding hands the next day.
Next day, walking down the hall, holding hands.
Walking down the hall. And then everybody, they do as we were known as Brian and Charlene in high school. So that's how the relationship started.
Yeah, it really was a friendship.
Oh yeah, best friends.
We were real good friends. Like she said, we were exchanging CDs, talking a lot on the phone, and just having good conversations, and just talking about what we like, what we don't like about life. Yeah, and just having real good conversation. It never went past best friends. Yeah, and then at that moment when you told me you liked me, and then that's where I was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah. August 9th, 1994. Yep. That's when we started officially dating.
Correct.
And became boyfriend and girlfriend. And
that was the story.
That's how we got started.
Innocent.
Very innocent.
Very innocent. Yeah. And I would say that it was innocent, but it was very deep. Yeah. Because we had some real good, deep conversations that we would talk about. Yeah. 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 So, okay. So that's who we are. Just told you we... from Mississippi. We live in Texas now, though. We've been in Texas for 23, 24 years. Over 20 years. Yeah. Been here a while. A long time. So we grew together here, but we're both born in Mississippi. And now we're here. So now marriage, relationships, this podcast. Like, why are we doing this? Yeah, why are we doing
it? Yeah. We really love to help couples. So we're the type that just honestly, at the end of the day, you can just come over to our house, sit at the table, and chat it up. We love to do that. We love to connect with people like that. And we found that connecting with couples like that is just awesome.
Yeah.
We really do love to just talk about our relationship and everything we've been through. Been married 24 years. Almost a long time. So with that comes a lot of stuff. You know, we got married young. We'll tell y'all this part, but 22 when we got married. So we got married really young. You know, we hadn't grown into ourselves and all that stuff. So it's a lot that comes with that. So we love to have people come over and talk, and we were like, you know what? We want to kind of share with more people. Yeah. So why not do a podcast?
Yeah, I think, you know, because like you said, we didn't know what was happening in our marriage. Mm-hmm. It was, we were just being married. We thought we were doing the right thing. Some things were wrong, blah, blah, blah. But then we would have people over, couples come over and
for dinner. Yeah, table.
And all of a sudden we get into these deep, long conversations. I mean, people would probably come over at 7:00 and then leave like 2 a.m. in the morning. And it just happened to work that way.
It was just very natural.
It was just very natural.
Our dining room table became just...
Yeah, it became a source of comfortable conversations.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, over time, we felt that we got blessed from that. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to continue to bless other people. That was early on in our marriage. I don't even think we recognized that at the time. Mm-hmm. And then just over time, we just kept having couples over, and those conversations would get deeper and deeper. Yeah. And I was truly blessed from those conversations, because I think it allowed us to help our relationship. But also, like you said, it put us in a position where we want to help other people that are struggling. Some people are doing good. Yeah. How do we get blessed from the people that are doing real good? And how do we help the people that are struggling? So, yeah. And this whole podcast is a spiritual move. It's not something that we just say, oh, let's just go up and do it. Mm-hmm. It was something that really God had talked to us about years ago, that we have finally now being obedient and just doing.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to share. And I always say, we do have an awesome relationship. I do believe that. We absolutely have an awesome relationship. But I know a lot of times the picture of it makes people think that we don't go through anything. Oh. And I think that's the part that a lot of times, you know, people look at us and go, oh, it's cute. Oh, they've been together since high school. Yeah, it's cute now, but it's a lot to go through.
It's a lot to unpack.
To even stay together. I mean, even now, right? Yeah. 24 years later, it's still stuff. Right. It's still stuff that we still go through. We still have to work on. But we'll get into all that on all future episodes. So we're going to stick to why did we get married? We already talked about how we kind of formed our relationship, how we met. The why did we get married part. Wait, I think we said that. Episode 1 is about the first spark. Why did we get married? Oops. Okay. So
I like when you did that.
Thank you.
Jumped into that.
Why did we get married? You know, it's funny because most of the time people say, oh, because I was in love. That's probably the most common answer, because I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I think I can say, my husband has a different aspect, but I think that I can say some of those things are true, but sometimes they can be cliche. With me, I can't even look and go that I'd ever thought about getting married before I thought about getting married. If that makes sense. Yeah. I think some people grow up thinking about, oh, the wedding and how's everything gonna go. And my vision of, coming from a female standpoint, my vision of the man or the person that I'm gonna have in my life, I never thought that. And I think that has to do with the way, you know, a person grows up, right? Yeah. I didn't grow up seeing, my mother was a single woman all her life. So I didn't see that growing up. So I never had the vision of, oh my God, a beautiful big wedding and all these bridesmaids and a huge ring. Like, that just wasn't me. My Barbie dolls, okay, y'all? My Barbie dolls never got married, as I sit and think on this, because I love Barbie dolls. My Barbie dolls never got married. My Barbie dolls were single. And so I think that represents something.
Barbie dolls were doing what? Did you have a Ken doll?
I did.
Okay, so they were just living in sin?
They was hutching and stuff. Anyway, so... Okay, sorry.
All right, you got, put your Barbie dolls out there like that.
Okay, so anyway. So I just never had that vision. So for me, why did I get married? I think the answer, and that honesty, we forgot to tell y'all, we're very honest. And we've learned how to be very honest with each other, which sometimes isn't as easy as you think. But why did I get married? I think a big reason Brian had moved to Texas. We graduated from college from Jackson State University. Lee, I love. We graduated May of 99. Brian moved to Texas in June of 99. I was still in Mississippi living with my mother. 21-year-old, in my head, grown woman, living with my mama. Baby, we was clashing, right? And it became to the point where I'm just ready to go. And I knew that Brian and I were going to get married. So to me, it was just, he moved to Texas. I'm moving to Texas. I'm ready. Now you can tell your side as far as with Mimi, Brian, my mother-in-law, it wasn't going to be I moved in with him in Texas without us being married.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just a logical chain of events. We graduated from college. He moved here. He proposed to me August. Yeah, because it was my birthday.
Yep.
August 21st of 99. He brought me down here to Texas, to Dallas. And he proposed to me. It was so beautiful, y'all. It was West End at the time was hot and popping.
Oh, yeah.
He got a whole little carriage.
That's all I knew. I just moved to Dallas, so I didn't know a lot.
But yeah, he proposed to me, and then it was like, okay, yep, let's get married. When we get married, January,
just pick a date.
Yeah, no need to make it longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you want to put something in there before I go on into like the wedding part.
Well, I'll talk about why did I get married.
Yeah.
So the biggest part for me, I wasn't even thinking about getting married. Wedding was never of an interest to me, but for me, it was, I knew I wanted to be with Charlene forever.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that much in common. And I say we have a lot in common, but we have a lot that are things that are not in common. But the things that we had in common were very, very deep.
We vibe.
Yeah, we vibe pretty easily. We got along with stuff. We got the same crude sense of humor. Charlene would shock you. But anyway.
What? Oh my goodness.
But so I knew I wanted just to be with Charlene. So, being a Christian and religious and
at the time.
And it was like, okay, well, if you're going to move up here, we got to be married. Mm-hmm. So essentially I can just sum it up that I wanted to be married so I can have guilt-free sex. And that's the honest reason.
Honest truth.
I had to go back and look at this. I wasn't thinking like this at 22.
We were 21. Yeah,
21, 22. I wasn't thinking like this, but that's the honest truth. Why did I get married to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved you. Yeah, I wanted to be with you forever, but I didn't feel like I needed to be married to be with you for the rest of my life. I wanted to marry you so I wouldn't feel guilty by having sex with you freely. Yeah. And that was the real reason why I got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, so when you listen to our reasons, right? My husband just said, well, I want to have sex with you without feeling guilty about it. And then I said, well, I want to get out of my mama's house. So those aren't those deep felt like, oh my God, our love was so deep. But the side note to that is our love was so deep.
Yeah.
The side note is we were best friends. And we will always say, being best friends first, being friends first, then growing that into a best friendship just makes it into a beautiful foundation for your relationship.
I agree.
That does not mean you're not going to go through a hell of a lot of stuff. It's just the God honest truth. But it definitely does mean that you have this basis and foundation, right? Along with God. I'll always stick to that. If somebody asks me, it'll be God and being best friends. Yeah. That is the reason we are still together today. It has nothing to do with us.
Absolutely.
That's how we got together. That's what brought us together. And then the other things just kind of happened. So got engaged, was planning this wedding from, he was in Texas. I was still in Mississippi, of course. I was working and stuff after school. So planning this wedding. So the wedding for us, Brian didn't really care. He was like, yeah, do what you want to do. I'll just show up. Yeah. So for me, I was the one in Mississippi dealing with mother and mother-in-law, the things that they wanted the wedding to be. And for me, it became too much because like I said, I never had that big vision. So they were, just all the ideas and stuff. I almost wasn't interested. It was like, I want to get married, but y'all doing too much. So it stressed me out so bad. I'd be crying at work. I worked at Trustmark. Shout out to Gladys and Liz. I was at the front desk. And so I would be sitting up there crying, y'all, talking to my mom on the phone about stuff about the wedding. And I think it was the flowers that took me out. I don't remember what it was. But that was the thing that made me go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to spend all this energy on this wedding. I just don't. And I called Brian. He was in Dallas. And I said, Brian, I am calling the wedding off. We're still going to get married, but the wedding itself, I don't want it. And he was like, okay.
I could care less.
He couldn't. So, or he could, whatever. So,
I could care less.
I don't remember. I think I just called my mama. I let his mama know. I was like, yeah, I was like, the wedding's canceled. And my mama talked me into, she was like, please, at least let me give you a reception so people can, say bye to you. And I was like, whatever, cool. I was like, you can do the invite list. I'll tell you who my friends are. I think I even told her she could pick the cake, y'all. I was that just like, I didn't care. I was just ready to come to Texas to be with Brian. So January 15th,
yep.
we went to the church, Brian's church in Ridgeland.
Simon Hill Missionary Baptist.
We went to the church. It was just my grandparents, my parents, Brian's grandparents, Brian's parents, mm-hmm. Brian's brother, mm-hmm. I think. And that was it. And I walked down the aisle in my simple little white dress. We got married. Then we headed to, was it Primo's? And had the reception. And I don't remember the place. Why? Because my mama booked it. I promise y'all. When I say I didn't care, I didn't care. I told her, just tell me where to show up. I will be there. I think she even chose the food.
Yeah, I think she chose everything.
That's how much I was just like, whatever. So we had the reception. It was fun. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I had a
beautiful
great time.
Pictures from my Aunt Norma. Shout out to everybody that I still have. So beautiful pictures, great fun, dancing, great food. And then my mom had booked us the room for that night at Residence Inn. Remember that? She booked us the suite, y'all. It was 2 stories. It was awesome. We stayed that night, and no lie, January 16th, baby, we was in the car
on the road,
headed back to Dallas. Yep. And so that's how our wedding went.
Let me give a shout out to my mom.
Okay.
My mom and her friend, the night of our wedding, she drove all of our presents.
Yes.
All of our stuff all the way to Dallas and drove back.
Yeah.
I think she slept in she probably slept in that morning, but then she ended up driving all the way back, her and a friend. So that was pretty awesome to do that.
Yeah. Y'all forgot. That was stressful. Yeah. That whole thing was stressful just because the way we were doing it so fast.
Right, we were doing
quick.
it fast. I mean, it was quick.
But that was our wedding day. No big wedding, no bridesmaids, none of that, because it just, for me, wasn't worth it. And that goes into, something else, a huge thing that I always want people to understand. It is not about the wedding.
Yeah.
It is not. Sometimes we just got to kind of reevaluate that and put all of that energy into making sure you're ready to truly get married.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna throw this out here.
Throw it out. I'll see if I can catch it.
Were we ready to get married?
That's probably a topic for another day.
Yeah, that might be the next topic.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Ready to get married, that's a deep question.
Yeah.
No one understands what goes into ready to be married until you have walked the path.
Right.
Unless you have people that have walked the path before you, you sit down and talk.
Right.
But you truly don't understand.
Yeah.
Until you go through this thing. And so my challenge, I think, to a lot of people is focus on getting you and your fiance ready instead of you in that wedding dress and the suit and all the stuff, because it's awesome to have it, and I get it. I get the beauty of it, the beauty of coming together in front of your friends and family.
And there's nothing wrong with having a big celebration.
No.
If you got the money, spend it.
Right.
Do you? There's nothing wrong with that. Post your pictures on social media. Make it an extravaganza. That's not the thing. The thing is, if you do that, just make sure that you're also taking care of the relationship.
Put just as much energy.
Yeah, put just as much energy into that relationship
before you get married.
True.
See, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
It's easy to say afterwards, looking back, of course, but I dare people. Okay, you ready for this one? This is a small piece of advice.
Give it to me.
With most of us, at some point before you got married, you and your fiance wouldn't stand in front of the pastor and y'all talk to the pastor at the church for that little marriage counseling thing. That's cute. That's great. Do it. But I dare you to go to counseling by yourself. And then go to counseling as a couple before you get married.
Oh, yeah.
Don't wait till you get married, because the amount of baggage you bring into a marriage, not on purpose. It is not on purpose. But almost all of us have something that life has done that has become our baggage. And when you bring that to somebody else, right, sometimes that person isn't quite equipped. And so now they got their baggage, and now they have yours, and we jump deep, but it becomes, you know, kind of a difficult thing for all that baggage to be held. So I would like, if somebody asked me, what should I do before I get married? Go to counseling. Yeah. Not the marriage counseling. Go to counseling by yourself and then go together. Because there are some things that you may need to work through. So that means you can't don't start a month before you get married. Oh, yeah. Go to counseling and figure out that stuff that you may not even know about. That would be, I swear, if I look back, now we were just, again, 21, 22, but looking back, and if that was something that I would have done, I could just speak for myself. That I think would have been huge going into marriage to make it an easier road, I think is the best way to say. An easier road to kind of navigate. But that's just real. Like, we can get deeper into that in other episodes, but focus on
I really do think it's important for individuals to be fully individuals and take responsibility and accountability for themselves before they bring that into a relationship, not just a marriage, but bring it into a relationship and expect that other person to deal with all of their mess that they're bringing in. Yeah. So you definitely want to deal with those things before you get deep into a relationship. You know, like Charlene said, we are honest with each other now. I don't think we were that honest back then, but now we have to grow into a position where I can tell her things about me that most people would frown at. And it's like, oh, you tell your wife, your spouse that? Like, yeah, I do. Because number one, we're best friends. Yeah. But then number two, we've grown into a position where our best friends and our attraction for each other, all those things have been growing. Yeah. I'm not saying we didn't have ebbs and flows, but those things are growing over time. And to be brutally honest with yourself, but lovingly honest with your partner, I think is something good to have. Because you can't, I had to work on this, but I can't be just brutally honest with you. Ooh, I have to think about what I'm going to say to you. I have to bring those things to you in a loving way. But I think those things are very important in a relationship. And you said something very important. What did I say? I kept talking about marriage. Most things I say is important. This podcast is it's not about marriage. We happen to be married people talking. Yeah. But we're married people talking about a relationship. So this is even just about relationships. How about before you even get into a relationship, on the counseling part I was talking about, go to counseling. Because that stuff is there no matter what. So it's not that you have to wait until, I'm finna be in a relationship and I want to make sure things are good. Like, nah, just go. Sounds like you've been to counseling before. Shy. That's another episode. That's a whole nother podcast. But anyway. Okay, y'all. So we got a little, we want to keep this one kind of light for the first one, but we went a little deep there, and that's all right. That's all right. That was an example for y'all to kind of see like where we'll go. This is just about us talking to each other, talking to y'all about relationships and how to navigate them in a way to maybe make it a little easier. Our hope is to maybe help you with something, one or two things to make it a little easier. Just a piece of advice that you can go, oh, okay, cool. Let me try this to help my relationship be a little different, to help me be a little different. And I think, as we go on this journey too, I think it's good for us to hear from you because we learn and we're growing just as much as every other couple out there is. So we learn from other people's relationships, their honesty. So we love to hear your stories. So hopefully this does help you. Yeah. So as we wrap up this episode of the MyCrush podcast, hopefully you found yourself in our story. Why did we get married? Hell if I know. Were we crazy? Maybe. Were we prepared? No. Definitely not. Absolutely not. But one thing I can say is that you love me. We were. Yeah, sorry, that's not what I was going to say. I was highly attracted to you. Yeah. And I was highly attracted to my best friend. I think that's important. Yeah. And it allowed us to build a relationship before we got into a relationship. Yeah. Oh, that was good. That was. Write it down. Okay. Yeah, that was real good. All right. So we're going to close this thing out. Yeah. At the end of every one, we're going to give y'all some songs
Some of them have to do with us. Some of them just have to be love songs. But songs that you can put on your playlist and listen to when you need to get in the lovey mood. So today's playlist suggestions are Case, Happily Ever After, Jagged Edge, Let's Get Married, that was your jam, and Kelly Price, He Proposed. Now, Case was our wedding song, Happily Ever After, real quick. That was our wedding song.
You know something? I never liked that song.
I was just about to curse. You can't curse on the podcast.
You can.
Hold
just
on.
bleep it out.
What you mean? You gonna wait a minute?
No, okay,
I chose that song because you like that song.
Okay, so
I swear to God.
Back then I wasn't a huge Case fan. And when you mentioned the song as our wedding song, because I remember your mom said, okay, go ahead and do the cake. And you was like, oh, Mama, you make all these choices. And you the two questions you was asking me, Brian, what do you want your cake to be?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you want to be our wedding song? I was like, I really don't care. You was like, okay, I chose it. Mm-hmm. Case, Happily Ever After.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I didn't like the song at all.
Bruh. I chose it because I thought that you like Case. I swear you like Case.
I did not like
Y'all,
Case.
look at this, 24 years later.
I was not a fan of Case, but I will give it to you. Over the course of the years,
yes.
I have learned to love the song because it's about the lyrics. And if you listen to the lyrics of the song, you know, it's Happily Ever After.
That song.
And we have grown into that.
Yes.
But that day, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
My jam was Let's Get Married by Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
That was my jam.
I was
like,
Case,
that's
Happily
it.
Ever. I'm sorry. Yes, Happily Ever After. Because I thought you liked the song. I never cared. Nope. Case, I would never. Sorry, we shouldn't say that.
No,
but
Case
was
is
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
cool.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's okay. Let's just ain't this song. Well, okay.
But I listen to that song on repeat.
So
all the time. I love Case now.
We need to find a video and watch us dancing and staring into each other's eyes on Happily Ever.
Right. And we might have that. We got pictures and stuff. And I guarantee you, I was probably looking off because I wasn't into that marriage and that whole thing. It had nothing to do with Case. It had nothing to do with his style. It was just, that wasn't in my heart. But
that is hilarious.
I learned to love it. So
that is hilarious.
That is funny.
My goodness.
Well,
okay.
It's not funny to me. I knew this.
Golly. All right. Okay. So that was the playlist. Next time we're going to kind of dive into maybe the roller coaster of love. What happens after you get married? Like, I'm married. Now what? That's what we'll talk about next time for y'all. And I think that is it. Thank you so much for joining us on our MyCrush Podcast.
That's it.
We hope to see y'all next time. And love y'all. Bye.
Thank you. And remember, just keep the toilet seat down when you use it.
Bye, y'all.